All What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another pre-market watch list here today. So as many of you guys know, I'm out here in California. So we're going to speed up today's watch list and all the watch lists that are streamed here to YouTube for the next coming days. We're going to speed them up. Just going to go over a few stocks. I don't have all my equipment here, kind of just working off a small little MacBook computer, so it does make things a little bit more challenging. Regardless of that, let's get into it. So the first stock I want to take a look at here today is going to be Twitter. Many of you are familiar. Twitter was the stock just on Friday that had earnings, and it gapped down from 44 to a low of 34 on the day, and we did end up trading it. So $34 is kind of a key level support for the stock Twitter. All right. With that being said, that's kind of the level to watch for. It's very possible that today Twitter holds a support off of 34, and we might end up seeing a slight little bounce to the upside that we might be able to get long on. Ideally, what I would like to see happen with Twitter is I would actually like to see Twitter get pushed below the $34 mark so we can actually look to short it once again. So the only issue with trying to get or see if Twitter can get below $34 is if you look back, 34 is a pretty significant level of support back from when Twitter had previously popped to 34 that it held support over 34. So again, 34 is a very, very key level support. So expecting that it's going to break 34 and hold below 34 today would be pretty significant. So I'm actually a little bit more long bias than I will be short bias on Twitter. I think today Twitter's going to most likely be due for a little bit of a pop to the upside, and then in the coming days we might actually see it roll over and come back down to retest those low areas. So for me personally, if I'm going to get long on Twitter today, the target price for me is probably going to be 35 and 36. I don't foresee Twitter getting any higher than 36 because $36 was also the price that Twitter had reached in pre-market trading Friday and held a very strong support. So again, first target for a long bias trade on Twitter would be 35 and then $36 thereafter. Okay, next one on the list is IQ. So IQ is gapping down again here this morning. If you look at, let's just say, a 20-day chart, everything points to very weak, very bearish looking. So IQ does have earnings coming up tomorrow. So it's possible that we could see a sell-off before earnings. We might see it hold support. But at the end of the day, everything on IQ points to a pretty bearish looking chart. It has a nice rolling over action. So today, just to put it very simply, we're going to be watching Twitter to the short side with the break below $31.50. If we can break below $31.50 and then even $30, that would be great. So I am going to be watching IQ short. The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous about trying to short it is we're just coming off a pretty good red day on Friday. And if you look, $30, the $31 and like $30.85 has a lot of choppiness trading from a few days back that might keep IQ from falling short below that level. But I do think IQ is getting to a pretty pivotal moment on the stock. As you can see, if you look at a 180-day chart, there's a downtrend line from its highs, 52-week high, and then also has an uptrend line from its most previous lows, and it's starting to look very weak. So if this thing starts to break down and starts dropping below the $31 price point, we could see a pretty good sell-off as low as $29. So there could be a pretty good sell-off here. So going to be keeping that on watch today for potential short. All right. So again, definitely keeping Twitter on watch for a short. And by the way, guys, if any of you guys are asking questions in the comments section or in the chat on YouTube, I won't be able to see them today considering I'm working off one very small computer. So if I'm not answering or looking at any stocks you guys are, asking about, I do apologize. It's just because I'm working within my means while out here traveling in California. So next stock I'm going to keep on watch is going to be Caterpillar. So again, Caterpillar is one of my next stocks on watch. It is a little bit more higher price when you're getting into $148 a share. So for some of you, this may not be one of the stocks that you'd want to focus on today, but I'm still going to go over it because it is most likely going to be one stock I'm trading today. As you can see, Caterpillar has gapped up this morning from 142 to 148, and then it's seen some resistance right at 148 and could not break through, and now it's starting to pull back. Well, Caterpillar did show good earnings. They did have a little bit of a revenue beat, and then they also raised their guidance, for this coming quarter. So they do have an increased guidance, and they did beat revenue. So I do see Caterpillar as a bullish, long bias stock today. What it's doing right now is pulling back, which isn't bad because this is actually going to provide a better area for any long bias trader that wants to get long in the stock. This pullback's most likely going to create that opportunity for them. So do understand Caterpillar did have good earnings, did have a guidance beat. They popped up to 148. 148 has a strong resistance there. Right now it's pulling back. I do see this as a washout or just a pullback before the stock potentially runs to the upside today. Now, I would say, I would say Caterpillar has the strength to get up towards even the 150 mark today. 148 is kind of a resistance area from previous trading, but I think with the earnings and the pullback, if we have enough dip buyers come in, I think we could see Caterpillar up to highs of 150, maybe even 153, possibly even 155 today. So again, Caterpillar more long bias. Okay. Next one on the watch is the one that everybody is talking about, AWX. So till this day, I have yet to really even trade AWX. I don't think I've traded it at all throughout its whole big pump phase. So what I will tell you guys bluntly is there is a lot of manipulation going on with AWX. The stock is very overextended. It's been getting manipulated. People have been propping the stock up. All it's been doing is short squeezing. So I could go into depth about the manipulation going on, but I won't because we don't have the time for it. If you're in our premium member section of our private room, our moderator matrix has gone into a great detail showing filings about the manipulation and things that are taking place. So what I'll say for most is today is going to be a stock that could easily blow up your account or make you a lot of money. So if you're planning on trading AWX today, you have got to be willing to take the risk. And if you do, happen to get crushed on it today, you have to be willing to accept the loss and just know that going into the stock, it is very manipulative. It is not your friendly neighborhood stock, okay? This thing will blow you out of the water by any means necessary, okay? So today for me, I would like to say that AWX is at its top and it's going to stop running, but considering there is clear evidence that proves the stock has been getting manipulated on the way up, it's very hard to judge exactly what it wants to do. Partly because if a stock's being manipulated, technical analysis you can kind of throw right outside the door. Because if the stock's being manipulated, it doesn't matter what pattern is occurring. If there's someone there that has enough money and shares to manipulate the stock, they can buy it all back up and cause all the short sellers to squeeze out, right? Or if there was a beautiful bullish looking pattern and it looked like it was going to break out, but the gentleman who's manipulating the stock has so many shares that if he just starts dumping them on you guys, then that beautiful bullish pattern is completely irrelevant because he's going to dump all his shares and cause it to crash anyways. So again, this is a very, very challenging stock to trade today. And if you do go about trading it, you're going to have to size correctly and make sure you're not, taking too much size on it. So just some brief technicals on it. It has the high here, 36 pre-market, where it's already been seeing resistance and starting to sell off. So for me personally, I think what we're going to see first is I think we're actually going to see AWX drop maybe a little bit more, but at the bell, I think it's going to squeeze all the way back up closer to 36. Once it gets towards 36, I think we're going to see it just dump. Okay, so I do believe this is going to be like a U-shape attempt to break out of 36, and if it fails to break out of 36 today, we're going to start seeing this thing coming down. And that's kind of my game plan. So for anybody who can short the stock, look to get short on AWX towards the $36 mark. And then, if you're going to try and long it today, I mean, it's getting closer to a better area to long. So I'd be looking to get long up until maybe 36, and that would be about it. And quite frankly, that is all the stocks that I have or will be covering on today's watch list. So again, I'm in California for the next week. So while I'm here, these morning watch lists will tend to be a little bit quicker. You won't see as much detail, but still going to come on to give you guys a brief overview of what it is that I'm looking at and a simple, step by step on how I intend on trading them. With that being said, everybody have a good day, stay green, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow morning.